I was traveling through Europe with my friends when we decided to stay at a hostel in a small town. The hostel was cheap, and it seemed like a great place to stay for the night. When we arrived, we were greeted by the owner, a friendly man named Alex. He showed us to our room and gave us a tour of the hostel. Everything seemed normal, but there was something off about Alex. He seemed too friendly, almost too eager to please. That night, I woke up to the sound of someone whispering my name. I opened my eyes and saw Alex standing at the foot of my bed. He was staring at me with a strange look in his eyes. I was terrified. I tried to scream, but he put his hand over my mouth. He whispered in my ear, telling me that he had a special room in the hostel where he took his guests. He said that he could take me there if I wanted. I shook my head, trying to get him to leave. But he wouldn't go. He just stood there, staring at me. I was paralyzed with fear. Finally, he left the room. I lay there, shaking, until morning. I told my friends what had happened, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was just having a nightmare. The next day, we decided to leave the hostel and continue our journey. But before we left, I went to talk to Alex. I wanted to confront him about what had happened. When I found him, he was in the basement of the hostel. He was standing in front of a door, holding a key. I asked him what was behind the door, but he just smiled and said it was nothing. I pushed past him and opened the door. What I saw inside will haunt me for the rest of my life. There were people chained to the walls, their eyes wide with fear. They were covered in bruises and cuts. Some of them were barely conscious. I called the police, and they arrived within minutes. They arrested Alex and freed the people he had been holding captive. It turned out that he had been running a human trafficking ring out of the hostel. I learned a valuable lesson from that experience. We should always be careful when we travel and trust our instincts. If something seems off, it probably is. We should never take our safety for granted.